Okay. If you don't want people to know your business, don't talk about it. TV, I got just kidding. No, but you're So yeah, just please don't let anybody mess with it. And I write in there.
Yeah,
You just told, no, obviously gatekeeper. Thank you. Hi,
Hi.
are you
All right, how you been?
okay too? John's not in there, is he?
Not in Burgers.
Okay, I'm gonna give John a call.
Yeah, so it's the coffee clutch this morning.
You told me
Yeah, I heard that you did one as well. How'd it go for you?
it was fine. Yeah, it was just, I learned a lot about the senior center, really, and and all their services. And then I pretty much talked about flags, and that was not a great thing to have, you know, our town to be a bulletin board. And then, and we don't need, anyway, and people they got it.
Right.
So yeah, that's a slippery slope. Okay.
I see, we got a really good possibility for a town minister.
Yes.
Yes, you do. I'll be right back.
Oh, great, good. I'm calling John. I don't know if, well,
He's worked here.
yeah, I know all that, but
You know.
just so you know, his application's not in yet.
I know it is, that's why I'm not mentioning names.
Oh, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And he was, did not want to come in with grim because they kind
Don't, we're being recorded.
okay.
It's on, it's, she just has it, on
Yes.
YouTube. Yeah, passive. We can't see ourselves or anything, but it is being recorded. And let me just give John a call. Because I
Yeah.
haven't talked to him since Thursday, but yeah, and we have 15 applications now as of today.
Yeah, I know. Dave Knudsen was worried we wouldn't have enough applications, but it looks like
Yeah, and,
people want to be here.
right, and they're kind of from different parts of the country. Yeah, there he is. There's John. I see. I was just getting ready to call you, but here you are.
Yeah.
And we're Zoom. We are on Zoom, yes. Maybe in the afternoon. Yes, yeah. Yeah, oh, I think so. Yeah. Do you want to plan on continuing our conversation on stuff? Because I could put together the paperwork that I thought would be helpful to go boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, question mark.
And what you have out is what I want to.
Okay, all right, sounds good. I will,
Get that nailed down because that affects everything.
right. If I can't hear it too, I'll let you know, but I'll plan on it.
Okay.
So, hey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you then.
See ya. So,
Thank you, Dan.
everybody, yeah, I just got the announcement up on the Kansas municipal webpage because turns out my email to them had gone in their spam and I finally made phone calls. So
Yeah,
that's about 6 states municipal, and then Indeed, there are 5 total. So, and other ones that I pulled out that don't. So,
so you wanted me in on this because I've been on the boards that have hired 3 clerks.
well, yeah, when you said
Okay,
that you've
so-
done that, I thought
Yeah,
it'd be
Jeannie
helpful.
Pickens was the first one we hired, followed by Gio Garver, followed by Barb Peterson.
Mhm.
And we did go through a lot of clerks. But the process we used was to first try to see if there was someone already internally that could be elevated to that position.
Mhm.
You know, that's pretty typical. You still advertise it and things, but you, if you have someone that's got all the skills and knows how to run the system, because a lot of it's just knowing, you know, how to run the computer up there and the rest, but also knowing the code and all that.
Mhm.
Try to grow them up. Now, Amanda wouldn't work because she's got a kid, really, that's gotta be the focus.
Yeah.
I mean, her child, not. I don't know. Vera, do you think that?
Did we ask Amanda?
No, we haven't, but I'm just talking about our possibilities, if we could grow into that position.
Right, oh, no, I heard you, I'm just saying, I never dismiss anyone, so.
That's a good start.
Here, let me just. Hi.
Not dismissing, I
Yes.
just wondered if.
Yes.
That's an indicator.
Yeah.
And then.
Yes, I know.
Anybody else who
I had
think
to do
that
it.
that's internal to the
Yeah.
town that could possibly
No,
go up to that position?
no,
Yeah.
Well, we have to be careful about what we do, but one thing I feel very strongly about is that we advertise.
Yeah, we definitely have to.
Yeah.
advertise.
And then anybody who wants to apply can apply. And here's the other thing, there's a new state law that any employees have to be made aware. Hopefully through an email that there is a position open for betterment.
So in
So-
other words, for any open position in town, there would be an email out to each of the employees so they had an opportunity.
Yes. I'm not sure that's been done before, but we need to.
That's a good
It's
idea.
done.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they would, anybody would have the ability to apply. And I have to tell you, I already got an application for clerk.
Really?
Yes,
It's already-
I've sent you emails, John, of that.
Yeah.
So,
Out of the 3 that I was in help, you know, I was on the boards and hired them. One of them was an internal grow, and that was Gio Garber. And the other 2 were fresh hires. We used the local network to hire people rather than just go out, you know, like Dave Knudsen likes to use a search firm and all that. We just didn't go there at all. But this is a small town, everybody talks to everybody, if you let the information out, you know who's there. Okay. So before we go do a lot of outside looking, I think we need to just touch our own internal people
yeah,
and let the word out. See what comes up. Do you have a list of requirements for the job?
no, that's just it. I have a tentative list that I was gathering when we were trying to, when we were at our point of reappointing the clerk.
Yeah,
I have some research and there's a clerk's handbook that Dolan has. And I have examples from 2 towns that I picked up just so I could educate myself on clerk. So we do not have a job description and we need one. And I don't know that there's
I thought
one.
that was the point of today's meeting was to meet with Corinne and begin to,
she's off.
No,
that's right.
she's gone this week. Mostly I wanted us to sit down and talk about timing, needs, creating a job description, and we can ask if there is a clerk job description on file. I did not think to ask that.
I'll ask that.
Okay, if you would, that'd be great.
Yeah,
If there is one, then we can just work off it. The other thing I think we have to talk about is the budget and the potential for doing any double filling. Because I think it would be, personally, would be nice to see the clerk in here before, sooner than we're looking at the administrator to do some
What do you mean by double filling? What's that?
Well, we would be double filling
Piggybacking.
the clerk position because Corinne's the clerk. But she's gonna be here till the end of the year and I was,
Onto another position.
no, she is still the clerk and the administrator.
Oh.
And I'm thinking if we that maybe the town clerk, we could try to get in here before December
I
31st.
see what you're
It's
saying.
what I just wanted to discuss was
It depends
timing.
upon money in the 2022 budget.
The logistics.
I got it.
Well, and that's, I thought we could look at, the admin. How we're doing in terms of payroll left over, and we have. It looks like we have almost 82,000 budgeted, and we've spent 77 in admin. But if we can take money from admin to pay for contracting, I don't know why we can't maybe take money from other line items in admin to pay, but I don't know. I have not done any of that research.
Cindy about.
Yeah, because I wanted us to talk about this first.
What are you thinking that like something like November, December? 2 month kind of, I mean, it wouldn't happen sooner than that.
Right.
Could have, but probably not.
And again, I'm just,
Sort of thinking
just give us some time to put together the description.
training.
And then, talk to the trustees about the description, the pay range, what we're looking for. Get the word out. And I agree with you that I think we locally, Delta County, probably have plenty of.
Just
reasonable
towns, whole
applicants.
town.
Right.
I think we just need to tap it. There's an advantage to having a clerk that's local to the town. They know the town, they know the people, they know the philosophy of the town. And they'll fit in much more smoothly. So you're thinking about just having an overlap for training purposes then between
And because I just don't know when we'd have an administrator. Because I don't think we can double fill, have Corinne here. And an administrator and a clerk all simultaneously.
I don't think we're going to,
I don't think we can afford it.
whether it's a possibility or not. I mean, a financial, legal possibility. I don't think it's gonna happen just because of the way the schedule is.
Right,
Not likely.
right. But I thought the clerk, because that's a relatively easier job to fill. In my being optimistic.
it's easier to fill just based on the number of times we've done it historically. In many ways, the clerk has more power than the administrator. Most people don't realize
Yeah,
that
they
it's a
do.
statutory position. The clerk has a lot of power.
Right? I agree. Okay, fine. So we'd have to talk to Cindy about the outlay. Money, and I'm not sure what other budget fund categories. May have an excess right now. Actually, it looks like public safety does.
Yeah, they got it.
So, that we would have to do a budget amendment to pull money from that fund, I believe, if we were to use it for administration, but that's.
I think that was like constraints in the administration without trigger.
Well, I don't see a lot of wiggle room. Fortunately, other than legal services right now. Has a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be spending money with Nick.
It'd be nice to have a clerk that didn't hit legal as much.
Well, no, I just mean there's
You know what I
money
mean?
in the legal services.
Legal
line.
is like, we're looking like, what, 70,000 a year or so?
Yeah, but I'm not making I'm not talking about the position. I'm talking about money that
Money,
might be
right.
available.
But I'm talking about money too. I'm saying it'd be nice if we didn't use legal for everything. We can bring that number down.
Well, I'm thinking this year, for next year, it'd be nice.
Depending on what percentage we've already spent, what's in the
Yeah,
action.
we've got 67,000 spent and we budgeted 75. So I don't know,
We got a little bit.
a little, but we also have, let's see, Nick. What's today? We got October, November, December. And this is an aside, but I think as a trustees, we should talk about, does the attorney have to be at every meeting for the full meeting?
Why are we doing that?
And I mean, that's a whole other discussion that I think we should try to get on the agenda.
No, because that's,
It's not something that you're
No.
stating this one.
Right, we're gonna stick to
Just
this.
up again.
Mostly, I was thinking we probably don't have money in the legal services engineering line item for admin. to try to double fill. We may not be able to based on the admin budget, now that I'm looking at it. So we have to think timing and but it sure be nice to get a clerk in here before the end of the year. So we could see if there's a way to do that, in my opinion.
But if you can't double, the current staff could train up a lot of the clerk position, at least the mechanics of being a
Right.
clerk.
Right. Yeah, so do you want to look at it? Again, we can't make decisions. We can only make recommendations to the full set of trustees. So first and foremost, we need a job description.
Yeah, I'll-
See if we have one.
yes.
Okay, thanks.
Can I say something as public?
Sure.
I agree. I mean, I appreciate the idea of looking locally, you know, as a focus, but there's also a benefit to not working locally. And that's, I think, a trustee brought this up is, and I'm not saying this is going on, I just think fresh set of eyes are really good.
Oh, yeah.
Because then someone already professional trained comes in and sees things that maybe couldn't be seen.
See, but I see a difference between local and in-house. I'm making a distinction.
Yes, thank you.
Because to me, you know, I think there's quite a few qualified people probably on the western slope.
And to hire merit and professionalism and education is, yeah, no wrong.
I mean, that's why I think we have to have a job description and what the education requirements will be, et cetera. And I don't know what they are for a clerk. I just haven't spent enough time looking at clerk positions and what's needed. But to me, a robust job description, job requirements is important for everybody to be treated the same in-house or out-of-house. Because that's, so we'll see. And if there isn't one, I'm willing to put together a draft just because I've read the whole clerk handbook.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
I hope so. I hope so. There's definitely one for treasurer because I have that job description, but clerk did not.
So if we have one, you could potentially post really quickly.
After we review it, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, and we could do that inside the trustees. Do as a committee.
Yeah, I suppose we probably need to run this past the board,
Yes,
the whole plan, whatever we put together.
Yeah.
Because we don't make that decision, we send recommendations.
right.
And regrettably, that's 3 weeks, well, not now, but it's 3 weeks for Thursday.
Mhm.
It's just the way the calendar falls.
Well, and the other thing too, yeah, besides that, yeah, that's awesome.
You had 3 weeks off.
We also have to figure out the salary and the availability of money, what the salary range would be too, and that's gotta be working with Cindy and the trustees.
Yep.
So
So we're hoping to keep the person more than a few months, right?
I sure am.
That was a sarcastic comment about our salaries. That was a joke, yes. No, not very funny one either. It's not joke.
Do we have a statement from Corinne about her timeframe or willingness to train or anything like that?
That's just what she said at the meeting. So I know that she said she's absolutely willing to train anybody.
Yeah, that was what I heard as well. But
Yeah,
I don't have anything to
I didn't even hear her say train. I thought I heard her say fill in some of the blanks or something. I don't
Maybe.
remember the term, but
maybe trains.
training that could potentially be a 2-week gig. And she's gonna be, where's she go to Delta, I guess, or something? She's gonna be training.
Right.
So, I mean, just as a human consideration, she's gonna have her hands full.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that and we need to check with Corinne about that first, but that she was in Arizona.
That would be new. Okay.
Again, rumor,
Right,
could be live.
right.
Who knows?
Well, okay, maybe training was a bad choice of words, but it sounded like she was willing to work with the person.
Either way, she's not very available.
Right, well, that's kind of my question, is how much, what's her availability to help someone? new to get into the role.
Administrator, I would think not so much, with clerk maybe.
Right. What?
Again, I'm just speculating.
Yeah, honestly.
And then the other thing I was, besides salary range and funds available in the 2022 budget. Question mark for the clerk. And how to advertise it. See other.
Just, we don't have one for our town. We
Okay.
use that as a basis document. That's Monument, Colorado. And since it's a statutory position, all of them are basically the same.
And this is the deputy, yeah, supervises the deputy clerk, okay, yeah, and I have one from. I snagged from
So
two towns,
where'd that come from? Did you just go look it up? If you need it as a digital document, just ask her. She popped up with very square why.
okay,
That one popped up. Yeah,
just one they have looked at,
one that they use as a.
oh, and it's 2/21/13 is the date on this one, which is,
Yeah.
again, that's the
That's
one. Let's see, but it's, to me, it won't be hard to find some other examples.
Generic.
Yeah, to kind of cobble together. A reasonable draft for review
So,
and, go ahead.
as well as job description, in there, so you have the requirements like whether or not a degree is needed or any of that.
I didn't look.
Because what's your feeling? We've had, Jeannie Pickens didn't have a college degree. She did a fine job. Barnes had a bachelor's degree. Hugh Garber had a bachelor's degree.
Well, if this is relevant, it says 3 years work experience, ability to obtain certification as municipal clerk within 4 years. Extensive knowledge of Colorado statutes, knowledge about these procedures, along with skill in interpersonal relationships, nothing about it's
Very degree in that. Because a lot of times, a person can be the best software engineer I ever hired had a high school degree. And he was hot.
Yeah, I'm looking.
So there's basically most of it says ability to do the job.
That fits in a lot of categories.
Colorado Municipal Clerk Association. That's the MTA.
Yeah, they might have some.
And the Certified Municipal Clerk Program. The certification to come through that organization. But it looks like there's levels. So I think that, you know, then keeping with what you guys are saying, probably somebody who can work towards this rather than has it already.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's,
the top of the.
We never use that
Qualifications
for
page.
certified clerks. In other words, basically, if they can do the job, you're always.
ability to return, obtain certification as municipal clerk.
Looks like Laura Peterson was working to obtain hers.
Master degree.
Is that what she was working towards when she was like?
When she was here, we had to deal with her. She was supposed to do the plan in exchange for us helping her with her master's degree, but we never got the plan. I don't think. There's a core of it there. She'd done a lot of the work, the collection, but it never produced a final document.
But at that point, I know people can get certified. And I think Corinne has taken some of those book training classes too. But I'm looking at Wellington's. They're saying a BA in public administration management, a related field, or 1 year of the appropriate type and level of experience may be substituted, which require a year of post-high school education. 3 years of professional work experience, possession of a driver's license, certified preferred qualifications, certified municipal clerk certification, notary certification. So I don't know what it takes to become a certified municipal clerk, but I don't think that's ever been a requirement.
Yeah, we don't really have to worry about that, at least yet. So for today, this meeting.
Right, but it could be, I think it's okay to discuss in terms of, do you want to have a draft job description to take to the trustees at whatever meeting. A review for everybody to decide what kind of qualifications would be desired. I feel like
That's the question.
the question is, I think we need a draft job
You
description.
got it. We could just take that and change the line.
I would like to read it a little bit.
I understand.
I think it needs, I would like to, I think we need a draft for
And
the
we're
trustees
free
review.
to look up some other, I'm sure we'll get a lot of things.
Yeah.
With a search. And we're free to sort of set those side by side and compare, but yeah, of course we need a draft.
And I haven't looked at that one to see if it's, because the other one, I got this one from Wellington and the other one I downloaded is Vail, of course.
Yeah, so.
But they have they have a list of the things, election administration, liquor licensing, town council and manager support, open records request, records management, town code and public notices. They have it listed what the clerk's responsibilities are, which I think is quite helpful. And I don't know what that is.
They do too in
Okay.
paragraph form here. I just didn't,
Yeah.
read them off.
So there's some good examples anyway.
We've traditionally not taken the job description to the board for,
Really? Well,
I'm just saying that's just something that usually the board signed off on the clerk. His or herself, did not, go through the initial process.
But the way we set up these committees is that we don't make decisions, we make recommendations to the board. But the way around that is we could have a very short special meeting. Oh, I shouldn't say very short because that is impossible. But we should have we could have a special meeting to dispense with this and approve.
There's a certain level of stuff that has to go to the board and there's certain level of stuff that doesn't, like every time we're discussing a water repair.
But we can set up these committees with that. specified.
I would want to draft and pack.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I wanted to go to the board.
I think that's important.
Yep.
Well, and plus, we need the trustees to be, while we're in budget discussions, to decide. Because,
How they want to do this financially.
right.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it might not hurt to have a recommendation potentially, and I'm gonna meet with Cindy tomorrow. I can talk to her about what do we have to try to hire somebody within this budget year.
Yeah, we're generating a good list of the things we need to backfill and figure out here. And I think if we get the answers to all these, put it together in an overall recommendation that includes the job description, then do what we need to do.
Yep.
I think that would work pretty well.
And then I have a third thing, and I thought we should talk about with just associated with the clerk, because I agree with everything you said, John. Is how would you like to advertise the clerk position besides it being on the webpage? I've seen many a clerk position for the towns in this valley in the DCI.
Yeah, that's what we traditionally advertise at the DCI and the shop.
Okay, and oh yeah, the shopper. So we could put that as a recommendation to the trustees as well.
A lot of people read the shopper, but not the DCI.
Any others?
A lot of people read the Merchant Herald.
Yeah, you could run it in Tom's paper.
See, so we missed his deadline for October, but he does an online
We're good for the month.
mid-month.
Are you talking about the online edition?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's come out rather intermittently and you never know.
Oh, he's done it regularly for now. He has recently.
How many it's been a while.
There's lots to talk about, like, what the board of trustees and county is up to, things like that.
Yeah, I've seen some of that.
So that'd be a good place there.
Very healthy, equitable, research.
Sorry.
And news, thanks, John. Are there any other, okay, similar to the municipal league?
I don't know if that clerks association you just mentioned, if they have a job board. Do you have it still pulled up?
Yeah, it's the fourth link on the menu at the very top.
What I found with Sick 3 Day was what mattered the most was stapling flyers onto bulletin boards around town. And word of mouth, really.
And word of mouth.
I don't think about that.
Yeah, word of mouth, that's a never.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so if our philosophy is to go local, that's actually a serious suggestion.
These guys right now, they have 12 open positions, Commerce City, Broomfield, Mountain View,
Oh.
Crestone, Windsor, Elizabeth. Douglas County, Longmont, and Wood Fire Bay. All have open positions.
Who's that?
This is the Colorado TMCA. Colorado Municipal Park Association.
I'd recommend we put it there too, just if it's free. I don't know if you have to be a member. Which,
We used,
but that's again, just a recommendation.
we used to require that the clerk live in town.
Statutorily, they're supposed to.
They are?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
There's a word in there, may, but it came up in one of the trustee meetings.
And so, well, May is,
And I don't have my stuff with me to say, but I'll put that, how about if I make that part of the packet information?
yeah,
So everybody can see that. The way it's worded is a little loosey-goosey because Corinne had moved out of town and didn't let us know. And I brought that up at one of those meetings,
yeah, I remember you bringing it up.
but I can't give you the exact language.
They don't say that here, so let's find that and.
Yeah, I have it.
That's right.
Yeah, and I'll put it as part of the, if you guys are okay with that, I'll put that as. Add that as the intro to the position, not put it in the job description at this, at that juncture, but just say this is what the statute says. So
There's no other appointed position though that requires living in town.
I don't think so.
We loosened that up. We used to have the police officers have to live in town, because we wanted a quick response,
Mhm.
backup and stuff.
Mhm.
But we loosened that up because we just couldn't. We have enough trouble with training officers without adding. yet
Sure.
another.
So is that the requirement, or are you just gonna use the zip code?
I don't know. I mean, what I think would be good is for everybody to see how the statute's worded. And then have that discussion.
Yeah. If it's word maze in there, that gives us a lot of.
There is a may in there. It's and somewhere in the phrases. So. Well, at the meeting, we had talked about an interim administrator. But I think gosh,
We're getting a lot of applications.
we are, so I just don't know if that's worthy of reaching out to DOLA.
In other words, all that extra effort and then. For a month or two or something.
Yeah, just, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
and this is solve
ambivalent.
our biggest problem, which is that institutional memory issue.
Yeah,
Institutional information. Thing we were talking about earlier. It actually just sort of makes it worse, because now you have people having to train the intern, and then turn right around and do the same damn thing for the new guy.
yeah.
And one of the things I'd like to bring up is that I think when we get a new administrator, depending who that person is, that I think we should talk as trustees as helping that person on board. Because, a lot of those documents that I had got that Michelle had listed for orientation are documents that we should all have access to that we don't, or a list. And I just think there's a lot of stuff that's not on the webpage that is important background information for anybody stepping in here if they're not already a little bit familiar with Paonia. So I think the trustees, since they work for us, I'd like to suggest that somehow we set up a situation where we help that person. Get-
Well, it came up in the meeting, you suggested at the meeting, what is it? Yes, you did. You said maybe the trustees could step in and help
No,
out.
that is, I said the trustees can step in and be the administrator.
You did. Okay, I thought you were trying to wiggle in that same argument again.
No, because if you don't have an administrator, the ordinance says the trustees kind of step up and have to.
That didn't work out well.
Oh, I'm not suggesting we do it.
I've been here, done it.
But I feel like if somebody comes in fresh that is not from here, they're gonna need some help, and you can't rely on a new clerk to necessarily be those people. So I'd like to suggest
I'm still not clear what that help is. I mean,
that the trustees help train the new administrator, because the administrator works for us. We are the administrator's boss.
And we are the institutional members too, right?
Yeah. And that may not be necessary depending on the hire, hard to say, don't know, but I'm just want to throw that out there. We can't just leave them and say, see you later, bye. When
Yeah.
we all have some institutional knowledge to share too. So that's just an aside, but it kind of gets to the interim issue a little bit.
that's a big issue. Let's stick to the clerk, which is why we're here.
Well, no, we were here for all three issues.
We were.
Yes, it came up because Mary said, well, you've got to think about an interim and then what's going on with the administrator. So that's why I'm bringing it up that while we're here. To just, at this point, I personally can't recommend that we start looking for an interim. Because I think it's not even September 30th yet, and that's when
Right.
the position's scheduled to close, but.
For the administrator, it's
Right.
closed in September.
But it's in many places where it can continue being advertised. And it said this schedule can be changed, so we can continue getting applications, and we still don't, and we won't know if there's any headhunters. It's October
I
2nd.
know, I know.
How many letters of interest applications we have?
Or proposals.
No, I meant for.
Oh, it's
administrators.
good.
For the administrator.
Oh, administrator, 12,
15 now.
15 now. Yeah.
That much interest, we could just wait until, I don't see any problems.
I don't need to.
Getting that done.
Yeah.
And just skip the interim thing.
Yeah.
If we get desperate, like February next year or January next year, we've gone a month without administrator or 2 months out administrator, maybe we need to grab
Yeah,
an interim. Well, the system will hold us. We've gone without administrators before. The system held itself together. We've gone without basically department head. Be gone, we'd have a gap. But we always are able to span that gap.
well, yeah, no, and I'm just making a face because it's not like an interim just walks in when you make a phone call to DOLA.
Yeah.
It takes time. And DOLA, I had talked to them a while back, just curious about how they do that. They said, right now it might be hard to find an interim. That was about 9 months ago.
Did they give you a time frame on it?
No, but they were kind of like, yeah, it's not easy to get interims.
So let's not go there if we don't have to.
Right, but if we do, we better have a little lead time if we're seeing that coming down the pike. But I feel a little more confident that we can get somebody in here sooner than later as a hired administrator. Yes,
Can I just make one point? Because that's institutional knowledge. I'm just hearing this a lot today. And we've had people here for 12 years, a dozen in a certain capacity. And they intentionally or unintentionally left no institutional knowledge, handed that down. So in a way, the trustees are in an incredible position right now, because you can never expect someone to like just continue on this job. And comprehensively, the trustees can ask someone, the administrator, who's going to be here for the next 3 months, to really outline and solidify what can be, transmitted. What's the most important stuff to compile and organize and transmit to the next admin. And that's a huge job. And luckily they have time to do that. And with the help of the trustees to get a game plan going, and where's that? And what's that? And what would be the most important stuff to transmit? And you guys do have time. So it's a wonderful opportunity.
We were ready at this point to figure out. Finalize this list of our homework. Basically, I think we are.
I think so.
And
On the job description, you want to bounce that off Corinne too.
Mhm.
And have her see if there's anything that needs to be added
Mhm.
based on her experience in the job. Things that were requirements that were excessive.
which one do you want to pass off to her? This one or?
The draft.
I think of the draft that we
Yeah.
proposed, and I'm
Okay.
happy to do the first draft.
Okay.
If you're all right with that, John.
Sure.
Just take bits and pieces of this and,
Run past me.
oh, yeah,
Call me if you can, and that way I'll spot it.
yeah, oh, definitely,
So there's no lag. I want to get this going as fast.
unless we don't have any money to pay them and then.
There's that.
No, I mean.
Cindy's got,
This is just-
Cindy's got the budget fully balanced, which is, it's early in the game. I mean, we're not done tweaking it, but
Mhm.
at least the numbers are coalescing. That's really encouraging this early. Because there's been times when we were still fiddling. in December, starting in December.
Yeah, and my concern is if we can hire them under 2022 budget. For the clerk,
Yeah,
and if we could, I mean.
you can ask her to see if she's got her who's running it.
Take it from public safety.
Okay, how do we do the salary range? What do you want to do on that?
Well, we have,
It's got the rest of
you
it.
know, that, this table, that big long
Get rid.
table, there's a whole salary range in that for clerks in similar towns. And then this list that Thomas just mentioned, they've got all the salaries on there.
They do.
So
So
maybe just go out.
56 to 84, 110 to 149, 52 to 62, this is thousands per year.
Yes.
Right, 63 to 76, 45 to 64, 53 to 74, so it's like 50s, looks like mostly. Some high and some low. Yeah, and Crestone is $20 to $23, and that's deputy clerk.
So what's that?
CMCAclerks.com.
Town administrator, looking at $40 an hour, that's 80,000 a year. Heads of departments, 35 an hour, 70,000 a year. And then it goes down to their specialists, the various kinds. We have two different categories, $30 an hour, $25 an hour. And the minimum base rate we're paying any employee is $20 an hour. So that's 40,000 a year.
Yeah, and like I said, this spreadsheet has a range of from 20 different
And
towns.
where does that document live? Was that an email
It was an email from Corinne,
from Corinne?
and I have some paper copies of it. I should have brought them. Because I can't look at a spreadsheet because you can't see what town it is.
Right.
You're going. So,
So let's see.
I think I'll deliver paper copies to people's homes. Because it's the whole spreadsheet that you can lay, because it's all, we really need to have that for the budget, because you can see every position towns hire and all the towns that they compare to, and you can
Right.
see all the ranges, but like on the table, which is what I had to do. So if you don't like paper copies,
I don't need it. I'm supposed to be in person, but you guys are.
well, you need
Willing
it
to help.
for it's important for the budget.
I agree.
So would you-
Please never send
For
me
finance.
paper,
okay,
digital only.
okay. When you have it digitally, you know, you have that spreadsheet.
Which,
The one that Corinne sent out, I believe in August. It's a
oh yeah, I've got
It's
that.
the Excel spreadsheet that it's a subset of the DOLA salary survey that they do every couple of years. And I think it might be August 4th. Because I couldn't find it and I think that's when it is. So, but I think, I mean, it's important because, you know, but I have to note that the salary for police officers is not in that. But we have a single page. This last year's budget has the police salaries right now. Anyway, do you want to pick it back?
Got a big wide screen
Okay.
that prior to read all, I think.
Anyway, I'm happy to drop
I
it off.
looked at it on the screen and saw.
Would it help?
No, the papers.
I can't do it with you.
So should we let this out in the local network that like positions open? We won't have a description yet.
Oh, I
Should we
think-
wait? Just start seeding it.
I think I've already heard from two different people that heard
I
this
know.
position open, so.
It's a sweet, actually, it is a sweet job. I'm referring to.
Yeah, so I don't, you know, it's just, we don't have anything formal to share with people at this point, but. I'm not gonna go up there and say
I
anything.
don't think we should formally announce, but there's no reason we can't.
No, I think the grapevine is alive and
We
well.
follow it up once we got a draft job description.
Okay, availability of forensic training. I wrote that down. So, okay, so what are we gonna do about that? It's.
To me, it's an ad hoc thing. You know, when you have somebody walk in the office,
She already said she'd do it. So it's a question of, is there someone around to do it too?
Well, Amanda's here. Amanda would be here to help train a clerk.
Yeah,
Yes, we've done that before, and
I'm
if we
just,
looked at it, the deputy clerk didn't want to have the full position.
Yeah, that's kind of, my question is, has anybody asked Amanda?
No,
Yeah, we need to.
That would probably be a good start.
it's kind of Corinne's job asking him.
Yeah, so that's what you want, there's no overlap, that's what we have to come back.
Because Corinne, she works for Corinne as deputy. And whether, I don't know if they have talked, because,
Yeah.
but yeah, it would be nice to know.
Her hours, I assume that she's not interested in the own responsibility at this time, but we could.
yeah,
Whatever mechanism.
Well, in terms of the clerk job, what we talked about was anybody who's willing to, is available to apply. I would not want to just hand it to somebody.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, you weren't here in the beginning. There's also a new state law, I think it was passed in 21, that when there is a job opening in any place, all employees have to be notified that there is a position that they could move into. So we'll have to make sure once this gets done, that Corinne emails that out to everybody too.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking, did you happen to find that email
No.
with that?
I have nothing. that-
I'm looking right now.
Salaries.
Here it is.
I thought it was from Cindy. This is from Corinne.
I think I was from
The,
Corinne, and I think it's around August 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, the subject.
Let's see. No. Several that match the description. Here it is, here it is. No, it's not attached. Look around August 4th from, and it should be from Corinne.
Okay.
I'm just not hitting it, right?
Okay, so how to advertise? We're not there. Yeah.
I think we got DCI, My Country Shopper, Merchant Herald.
Oh, yeah, we did come up with a list, and I'm saying we have to have something to give them that
High copy.
Yeah.
I mean, we need
The
a,
job description, sort of a cover paragraph.
Yeah. The job description is the first thing. Right.
and
That's where we start.
exactly, and the salary that goes in it, because by law, you have to tell people the salary of the job too. It is August 4th from Corinne, and it's called salary range spreadsheet at 11:28 a.m. Yeah, and that's just like with the administrator. We want to make sure it gets on the webpage under job openings. So once the trustees are okay with the draft and we have that, get that posted, then we have a place to link to. And in the DCI, and then if Tom's will do this for us, electronic. So it's kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4 stepwise approach.
Do they have to work in town? I'll go do some research on that.
Well, I've got the statute.
Do you
I
have?
just got the statute. I just don't have it on.
Get through these,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I just
Oh,
don't have it right in front of me.
If you send it, we,
Yes.
good. And then we don't. Any other?
Ready to go. I got plums in the dryer, so I've got.
Oh, I got.
No, man.
That's. Yeah, that's not a good state.
I turned them into. There's a sweet spot on plums where they're just perfect, but they won't rot. You can put them in a plastic bag and they last for years. So you gotta eat.
I'm gonna get into my own. Okay, all right, everybody.
Even though our water sewer, if there's any way we can help you guys. Thanks, chat.
Yeah.
I got some stuff to email to you.
Yeah, I can see it's.
I think we're on the road.
Use that free trial.
Page.
Oh, crap, I'll get her, have her. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure you want.
Yes, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been, I'm in that mode. Okay.
That's good.
Make it, cut the pace, cut the pace.
Can we tomorrow? Yeah, just see my hand. How's that? Don't yourself.
He's being stopped by the public. We not know that. We don't respect it. If you don't care. Right now, nobody has to do it. We gotta come around there just. Check out the garden. I can.
But I don't know that I'm happy with. Good job, Susan. So did you? Yeah, that was good. That was nice. Were there? That when the staff apparently. That were they got. Oh, no, this, I. That one. Yeah. Everyone. But it just came in accidents, but yeah, and I'm happy to do that because I have. But. And we can keep taking applications on so many of the different platforms, one's for 90 days, and it's just that. Closes on 30th, but this can.